There were 6 of them. A group so tightly knit it was almost impossible to see where one person's life ended and the next one began. They studied together, fought together, laughed together. Their lives were all tangled up into this one single thread. But then, very slowly, so quietly you could almost miss it, something else started to weave its way in. Feelings that didn't really have a place to go.
For Rhea, it was in the small things. She'd hold his gaze just a second too long, a little secret she kept just for herself. Mira saw everything. She would lean in a little closer whenever Rhea talked about him, always listening. And Tanae, he just saw the calm surface. He thought his own avoidance was just him being mature, that the silence between them all was peace.
And then, one night, everything changed. His phone lit up. 2 messages at the exact same moment, both of them with the exact same word. Yes, a single word from 2 different people, an answer to a question he never really had the courage to ask out loud.
A new chapter was about to begin. The messages just sat there on the screen. He didn't reply, he just sat. The only light in the room was coming from his phone, and the silence just got heavier and heavier. See, he wasn't confused, he was frozen.
The next morning didn't bring a big fight or some dramatic confrontation. Nope, just a quiet text from Mira. A simple message. She wasn't demanding anything, just offering him calm. A sense of certainty right in the middle of all his chaos. So he picks up his phone. His fingers just hover over the keyboard for a moment. In his mind, this wasn't really a choice between 2 people. It was a choice between a storm and the shore. So he typed it out. "Let's try. I think you're right for me." And he hit send. But what he wasn't thinking about were all the little conversations that got him to this point. The way Mira would so gently question Rhea's indecisiveness. The way she framed her own certainty not as a demand, but as a gift. It was never a hard push toward her. It was more like a slow, careful clearing of every other path. Meanwhile, Rhea wasn't trying to fight for him. She was just trying to figure out her own feelings. And that's when her phone buzzed. A message from Kabir. Just 5 words. "I think Tanae and Mira are together." She read the message once, then again. There was no sharp gasp, no sudden sting in her eyes. Just a slow, quiet exhale. It didn't feel like a shock. It felt like confirmation. Like she'd been walking toward this news for a very long time. When decisions are made quietly, they don't break things right away. They just change things. Like how people sit at a table, or how long they can hold eye contact. Kabir starts to tell a joke, then just stops halfway through. Sana sees it. Aryan just stares down at his plate. The whole dynamic is just off. Tanae felt like he had to explain. He pulled her aside later and started with, "I didn't plan for this to hurt anyone." But she wasn't looking for excuses. She just met his eyes. Her voice was so soft, but so steady. "You thought she was right for you." And just like that, there was nothing else to say.
Later, Mira was walking beside Tanae. She wasn't celebrating, because that would just bring more questions. She just whispered, "Things will settle." And then she linked her arm through his, a simple, quiet move that staked her claim.
That night, back in her room, everything was still. The argument she never had, the questions she never asked, they settled around her. But it didn't feel like a defeat. It felt like a decision. One she had finally made for herself. She opened her phone, and she slowly typed out a sentence. "I won't compete for honesty." She saved it as a draft. She didn't send it to anyone. She just looked calm, changed. And so, a choice was made. Tanae found his stability. Mira got her certainty. And Rhea found herself. This story was never about who would win. It was about the price of the choice. And the payment has only just begun.